morning. Thank you guys. I appreciate everyone coming out this morning. This is our monthly PLI forum, another opportunity to let you know what's happening in the department and get your feedback and questions and start conversations about our processes. So I wanted to kick this off with a little update on what we've done in the last 4 years. So we're finished term 1 of the administration right now, and we're headed into term 2. So I just wanted to give a brief overview of what we've accomplished, what we're seeing the construction market look like in particular currently, and what we're anticipating will come in 2018. So just to give you a sense of scale, 2014, the first year for which we have reliable figures available, we permitted just over $200 million worth of construction values. In 2016 and 2017, we permitted over $1 billion each year in construction values. So that increase in growth that we're all feeling is really true. So it's been about a 555% increase in work. So we've definitely been looking to get ahead of that curve, make our hiring and staffing meet that demand. So I'm happy to say that when we started in 2014, we had 3 plan reviewers, and now we're on path to have 13. So again, trying to meet our staffing level to match demand. You can also see this in permit volume. Just the overall volume of permits is up more than 20% since 2014. I would anticipate these numbers get even lower when you go further back in time, but unfortunately we don't have reliable records that were kept during those years to really sort of make those apples to apples comparisons. I think that something that's interesting, that orange slide, or excuse me, the orange line at the bottom is residential permits. So you can see those values have remained consistent over the last several years, but we've really seen the growth in commercial permit values. So I think, again, we're just seeing more commercial projects and higher dollar projects. We're also, during that time, because of additional staffing and better streamlined processes, we've been able to drive down the average length of plan review timelines. So again, in previous to 2014, they didn't track timelines in terms of how many days it took to respond to someone. And when we took over in 2014, it was about 26.4 days on average. And now we're down to, it's just about 13 and a half, if you can read it there. So that's at the end of 2017, and again, as we have more staffers come online, we're anticipating those timelines go down even further. And we're also much better about meeting our standards. So I'm happy to say that we ended 2017 being 100% on time, and we were frequently significantly ahead of our established due date. So we really want to provide some accountability and reliability in our process. We'll give you a date certain by when you'll get a response from us, and we want to meet that. Just on the inspection side, so this gives you a snapshot of just how many inspections we do in a year. So we did almost 40,000 code enforcement cases. So those are our inspectors that go out to neighborhoods and make sure that they're being maintained appropriately. That's zoning code issues, property maintenance issues, business licensing issues. We also did a little over 20,000 construction inspections, and we anticipate those growing. We're also going to be getting 2 additional construction inspectors for 2018 to again meet that need. And we also are really focusing on proactive inspections. So we did 2,000 proactive fire safety inspections. So that's making sure that high-risk occupancies like high-rises, schools, daycares, special assembly spaces are maintaining their fire safety systems appropriately. So, that's something we take very seriously, and that's really how we can drive down the fire risk in Pittsburgh. So you can see here's a look at our current org chart. We're on track to have 84 members of our staff when we finish hiring for this year. And again, we're really trying to shift to be much more proactive as a department and drive down our response times and improve our reliability in terms of how we perform our tasks. One thing to note is that all of our staffing has sort of a long lead time. So we all need to be certified by the state to do the functions that we produce. So to give you a sense, for an examiner to be fully functional, they need to pass 9 state certifications, and it takes 18 months. So, they aren't even able, per the state, to start reviewing plans until they pass their first round of certs. And we see that typically take about 4 to 6 months. Also to note is that we've rewritten all of our jobs such that they're similarly structured. So we have all of our construction inspectors are now cross-certified. We're moving to that again over time, so that they'll be certified to inspect for 5 disciplines: for building, energy, accessibility, mechanical, and fire. So you won't have to have multiple people on your job site, particularly to inspect for a single permit. So again, we want to be much more efficient in both delivering the tasks and having people navigate our process. If they have a single point of contact for their plan review, and hopefully a single point of contact or 2 for their inspection is the goal. And then we did the same on the operations front. So all of those inspectors are certified to do the property maintenance, zoning, and business licensing code. Previously all of those functions would be separate inspectors. So say if you had a mixed use structure with a business use on the bottom and then residential dwellings on the top, you could well have 3 different inspectors come there to cite you for different parts of different codes. And obviously that got very confusing and frustrating to people who own the buildings. So now we have a single point of contact and a much better communication. So just to give you a snapshot of where we were in 2014, we were really able to achieve these improvements by investing in our workforce. So we've rewritten every single job description in the department. Many of these hadn't been touched since the 80s. So we really had to retool people for what we needed as a 21st century Pittsburgh. And then we also did a massive round of training and certifications. So we've gotten more than 150 additional certifications as a department from the state. So again, our existing workforce are able to inspect for more disciplines at a single inspection time. I'm also happy to say that we have, I think, 5 master code professionals on staff. So our overall command of the code has really grown, and hopefully we're having much more thoughtful and nuanced code discussions. We are also much better about attracting candidates. In 2014, we were the whitest and oldest department in all of city government. And I'm happy to say that we've been really aggressive about recruiting much more diverse candidates that look like Pittsburgh, so we're better able to serve Pittsburgh's neighborhoods and communities. So since that time, we have 55 of our 75, at the time that I wrote this, we had 75 people on staff, were either in new positions or new hires within the department. And I'm really happy to say that 45% of our new people are women or people of color, and 44% of all managers are women or minority. Prior to 2014, we had never actually had a person of color be a manager in the department, which is pretty shocking. We are improving technology. We have cell phones, we have emails, we have mobile offices, we have surfaces in the field. We're scanning a ton of our documents, and we can talk more about this later so that we can access them in the field and also make them public to our citizens in a more accessible way. We're accepting credit cards, and we also started the Computronics project. So this is a enterprise-wide software upgrade for all of the city's licensing, inspecting, and permitting across the city. So it's going to be a 21st century workable platform that allows, perhaps for this room, most importantly, online permitting and inspection, and licensing, as well as being able to request inspections online. So instead of having come down here all the time, manually hand in plan sets, you can submit those things online. We've also established Building Eye, so you can track all of our work online, all licensing, violations, and permitting activity. You can set up alerts on your projects or on properties you care about or neighborhoods you care about, so that when we take an action there, you can get an email. We also are publishing all of our plan review guidelines and inspection checklists. We're not looking to play gotcha. Everything that we check for, we've published, and we really hope that people are pre-checking themselves to make sure that they're complying with all of our guidelines before submitting it. It's the exact same document that we use internally. We're also accepting final plan sets for simultaneous review with zoning. We'll get more into this in a minute, but it's a way to sort of speed your way through the development process by having contemporaneous reviews. We're also offering overtime inspections for inspectors in the construction disciplines. And we're also, making our accounting system more auditable and improving our communication to customers through better notices and online communications. We're improving license issuance. Now we're having each license be valid for 365 days before they would expire on a date certain. So if you are a electrical contractor who got their license in January, it would expire April 1 regardless. So now it's valid for 365 days from the date of issuance. We're also cross-checking with business taxes, and then we're being much more proactive. I've touched on many of these points. And we've also really streamlined city-funded demolition. So we're able to deliver a higher quality product for lower cost by rewriting all of our contracts, rewriting our specs, and requiring better deliverables. So going forward, we're going to keep trying to innovate. So we're going to keep having the appropriate staff to meet demand, and we're going to look to improve technology. One of the big things that we are hoping to do this year is to scan all of our occupancy files in a way that they are searchable to the public and available on a website. So rather than having to email us currently for your occupancy permit or come down here, you can just go online, start your research there, and move forward. So that will be a lot less work for us and a lot easier for us internally, and also provide a better service to our customers. We're also going to keep improving technology. We're going to have online licensing coming in 2018. We're going to continue to integrate GIS parcel attributes to be more sophisticated in our plan review and inspection. And we are also, as part of the technology upgrades, we're looking to really use this as a time to rewrite some of our codes. We don't want to build a technology system that just keeps the status quo and makes it a little shinier and faster. We really want to think through, how are we doing business as a city as a whole? Not only PLI, but city planning, DOMI, all of the agencies involved in the development process. So we're going to be doing some work on our codes to make sure that we have the legal ability to make those types of changes we want to do and adopt the best practices. So we're going to be introducing a package soon. We're going to be having another community meeting in a couple weeks to talk through those in greater detail. But we really want to modernize the building codes. So we're looking to to establish some new fees, not to raise the overall cost, but just to sort of incent good behavior. Right now, there's no negative costs for going through multiple rounds of plan reviews. We'll have projects go through 11, 12 rounds of plan reviews, or failed inspections. We have a real problem with people calling us out and they're not ready. So that's a time when we can be inspecting someone else's job, and we want to start charging people for when they fail inspections after a certain reasonable number. So things like that, and we also want to rewrite parts of the business licensing code. So much of that has not been touched since the early 80s, and the businesses that we were concerned about then and how Pittsburgh looked like then is very different to what it is today. So again, we want to modernize it, make the code more readable, understandable, and frankly make it easier to start and grow businesses here in Pittsburgh. And we're also looking to do much more proactive inspections. So we are optimistic that the litigation on the rental registration will wind down this year. And I'm very optimistic that we will prevail. This has been upheld legally in cities all around Pennsylvania, all around the country. So I'm confident of our position in court. So this is a long process that started in 2014, and I'm optimistic that it will terminate this year, and we'll start registering rental units and inspecting them proactively to make sure that they meet the minimum standards per the property maintenance code. So we'll be doing a lot of communication and training around that as we get closer, but we are optimistic that will come online this year.